Record, a podcast network.
What is up, everybody? Thank you for checking out the Attell podcast. I am your host, Patrick Christopher. What's going on? New camera. Who's this? Damn, of course. All this set up, it was quiet, and then I pressed record, and I got disturbances outside. It's wild outside, man. They have like bands down the street. There's 2 bands in my neighborhood. What is this? South by Southwest? San Antonio? I don't know. Anyway. I don't know what I'm doing. I got a new camera. Okay. I haven't told my wife yet. I have not told my wife that I purchased a new camera. Love, I purchased a new camera. And it was not cheap. She'll understand. She gets it. But thank you for checking out the Pet at Help podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Christopher. As always, we'll start out with a show date. I've been drinking. Yeah, dude. So June 17th, sure thing, at the Fallout Theater in Austin, Texas. That's at 9:30. June 23rd, Slacking Off Showcase at Slackers Brewing Co. That's at 8 p.m. in Austin, Texas. And then Fantastic Damage, June 24th, 8 p.m. at the Blind Tiger Comedy Club, San Antonio, Texas. What's up? I'm stoked on this show, and it's our third edition, not edition. Edition. All right, that's gonna trip me up. And then June 25th, let's talk about it at Casa Moreno's, 7 p.m. in Austin, Texas. And yeah, that's what's up, man. So here we are, got a new camera, and the squeaky chair is still the same. Yo, you spend all that money on a camera, but how come you don't get a silencer chair? Silencer chair. All right, guys. Here's the thing. I've been drinking. And I wanted to play with my new toys. I got new toys today. And I wasn't going to record. I don't like to record when I'm drunk or when I've been drinking. But I want to test it out, man. I want to test out the new toys. I want to do, and then I got to put out a Pat at Help podcast. It's the pod, the poo pod. So here we go, man. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. I am sorry I'm not at 100% my best today, but I feel good. If that's like if that means anything to y'all, you know. I had my therapy appointment today. I'm only going to therapy once a month now, which is really tough because it's like you think of an hourglass, right? And the hourglass, like, you have like all these little beads of things that you want to discuss, and you want to go over, and you want to get, your therapist, the person you trust, the person who knows you, not intimately, but like close, like deep. Like he's like a friend. He's like my best friend. He's the only friend I have right now. That's not true. I got friends. Got really good friends. But he's like the one that I pay to help me. Anyway, going at a month at a time, and I went from going 2 weeks to going a month because my insurance sucks, and they weren't paying for it, and I'm just like, cool, I can't afford to do this out of pocket, but I still need it. So now we go down. We went down to once a month, which is fine. But what I'm saying is that like I have like all these things, like a million things, a million and one things that I want to go over, but I have like this little window, a little window to get them all in. And so I'm just like, well, what goes first? What should we talk about first? What should we tackle first? What should we do this first? And dude, it was just like today. Today was like just an emotional roller coaster of things, like things that didn't even make sense. Like I didn't know I was so upset about this stuff until you asked me about it. You know, it's weird, man. I am pro therapy. If I think everybody should go to therapy. I think everybody should go to therapy. I think everybody should try it, um, to see if it works for you. You know, and it might not be for everybody, and I get that. But you should try it. You should definitely try it. Going once a month is a tough thing because you want to get the most the most bang for your buck. And I go an hour at a time. Today we went an hour and a half. I think he helped me out on the cool, you know. But it's tough because like once the timer goes, you're just like, let me unload all this stuff all at once, and it doesn't make sense. I'm going off on tangents. Uh, but help me, help me. you know. Um. So yeah, it went good. It went good. I don't know if I told you this, but like I put out a clip. I don't know why I put this down. I want to drink. I put out a comedy clip a couple of weeks ago. Maybe almost a month ago. I put out a clip of my time in at the Rough House Brewing, and I sent it to my therapist. And it just so happened the day I put it out was the day that I had my last appointment, so I hadn't seen him since. But I texted him and I was like, "Hey man, we talk comedy all the time, and I just put this out. If you want to check it out, here it is. Here it goes. Um, Here it is. And I told him too. I was like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was fishing for compliments. I was fishing for an attaboy from him. And I felt so silly. I felt so small to even admit that to him. But at the same time, I'm just like, this is the guy that I tell everything to. This is the guy that like is. I mean, it may be an unprofessional thing, an unethical situation, but this guy is like he's like the only best friend I have right now in the world, you know. And so of course I want to like tell him like about my progress, like where I'm at in this comedy thing. And the thing is, like we talk about comedy all the time. I tell him about how I feel about where I stand in the scene, how I feel about getting booked, not getting booked, good shows, bad shows, uh, jokes that work, jokes that don't work. I really just, it's a writing session for me. It's a very expensive writing session for me. But I sent him the clip, and he was, and I'm being humble as fuck. Please believe me, I'm being humble as fuck. But he was like, dude, I was so impressed. I was so impressed. And I was like, damn, dude, like, I needed to hear that, but at the same time, just like, damn, now it's weird, you know? Because I'm not good at taking compliments. I'm not good at taking compliments. Especially if they're compliments from here's the and it sucks, and I feel bad. I feel bad for people that give me compliments, but when it comes from a stranger, it means, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but it just means more when they're not a friend of mine or when they're not somebody that I know. You know, because I believe it more. I believe it more from a stranger than I do from a friend of mine, because a friend is just probably trying to be a friend and just saying, "Dude, like your shit," you know. But when a stranger tells me, when a stranger is like, "Dude, you did good. I really enjoyed you." That sounded weird. I really like. I had fun. When a stranger tells me that, I'm just like, "Damn, I fucking did a good job." You know. At one of the last shows that I did, at the Saturday show that I did at the Blind Tiger, I had a really good time. I talked about this on the last pod, but and this is kind of embarrassing, but I'm gonna say it anyway. He's like, "Dude, you're like a Mexican Rodney Dangerfield," and Rodney Dangerfield is like one of my favorites, all time favorites. Rodney Dangerfield is the first comedy album that I ever heard. My parents had it, and I listened to it, and I didn't understand it. I didn't completely understand it, but I understood the cadence, and I understood his rhythm, and I understood the setup and the punch of Rodney Dangerfield, and I loved it. It was therapeutic. It was it was the only like math equation that ever really made 100% sense to me. Does that make sense? You know, Ronnie Dangerfield is one of my favorite. Janine Garofalo is one of my favorites. Dave Attell is one of my favorites, and Ralphie May is one of my favorites. And although I don't feel like I'm connected to any of those in any way, to be for somebody on the outside looking in to say, "Dude, your set was like the Mexican Rodney Dangerfield." I'm like, damn, dude. And I get it, cause I mean that's where I'm coming from, you know. Like that's what inspires me, or that's what really got me into it, you know. Rodney Dangerfield, the records, that was the first. Janine Garofalo, I loved her style, dude. I loved her style. I loved her. It felt like free formed, and also like she also took her notes up there. I'm a notes person. I take my notes on stage, and I've gotten so many like criticisms about that. You know, like don't write out your set. Be in the moment. And I get that. And there's times where I do that, where I'm in the moment and it feels good and it's fun. But at the same time, I'm just like, where's my safety net? You know? And not only that about Jenny Garofalo, I loved her style. I loved her characters in movies. Like, Janine Garofalo was just like, she was captivating to me. Still to this day, you know? Still one of my favorites. Dave Attell, for sure, one of my favorites, man. I loved Insomniac on Comedy Central. When I ran into Dave Attell at the Comedy Cellar, and we had a moment. It was a moment to me. He probably will never even remember this, but it was a moment to me where he bumped into me when I was at the urinal, and the Comedy Cellar bathroom is so small. The Comedy Cellar is so small, but the bathroom itself is so small, to the point where like if somebody wanted to go into the stall and somebody was using the urinal, you're gonna bump into that person because the door is so close, everything's so close. And he's like, "Hey pal, excuse me pal, try to get through pal." And I'm just like, "Dave Attell, call me pal." And then he closed out that night, you know. It was just a random moment, you know. I just so happened to get in. They almost didn't let me in, but I they just let me in, and I got to see the show. I saw Shane Gillis. I saw Greer Barnes. Greer Barnes. Oh, he has the most funniest bits. Uh, Rosebud Baker, Tom Thacker. Um, damn, I don't want to miss anybody. But Dave Attell closed it out, and Will Sylvince was the host. But just being able, like, because I just wanted to go to the Comedy Cellar. I just wanted to go to the Comedy Cellar. I just wanted to see the show there. I just wanted to be there. Check in. you know, and to have David Attell be the closing act on that show, and then moments later to have that encounter, excuse me, pal, trying to get in. I'm sorry, pal. She's like, oh man, David Attell called me pal. That was a good moment, you know. Weird, a little hypersexual. Since I mean, when he called me pal, I was holding my penis. I mean, not in the creepy way. I was peeing, and I don't know how you do it, but I hold myself when I pee. Uh, that's how I do when I do what I do. You know. Ralphie May was something different. Ralphie May I met in 2000. We flew out to live in Italy uh, for a month because my sister was stationed in La Maddalena, Italy, uh, in the Navy, and we got to go out, flew out, and lived in Italy for a month. And just by happenstance, just by circumstance, just by coincidence, we run into Ralphie May at a authentic Italian restaurant. And he's a couple tables away, and we're just there in a group, and we're just getting ready to eating, and all that stuff. And he gets up. He's like, "Oh, I need a stretch. I need to walk this off." You know, all that stuff. He's a big guy. He's always been a big guy. You know, Ralphie May. Tons of fun. And so he gets up and he starts walking around, and he gets closer to our table, and he's like, "Americans?" And we're like, "Yeah, dude, like Navy and visiting from Texas." He goes, "Texas? Oh shit, you know, where in Texas?" Like, "Oh, San Antonio." He's like, "No shit, I'm from Houston." And I was like, "Wow, dude, that's cool." And he's like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm doing a show, you know, come on out to the show." And I think that may have been the first live comedy show that I ever been to was a Ralphie May show in a bar in La Maddalena, Italy. And that guy just his set just fucking blew me away, dude. The fact that he had so much control over the audience, like whatever he wanted the audience to do, they fucking did. Like, "I want you to fucking laugh." All right, now we be quiet. Now we're quiet. And he would keep that silence. And everybody was just engaged and listening to him. And then he blew him back up again. Like just the fucking not mind control, because he was using his words, he was using his act, just the control that he had over the audience, over me, over my friends and my family, over everybody. We were all in unison with the fucking laughs, and then the silence, and then the laughs, and then the silence. His control over the situation from start to finish was just fucking mind blowing. I've never seen anything like that in my life. This was in 2000, and I come back to the States, and months later, I see him on Last Comic Standing, which he didn't win, but that's neither here nor there. Shout out to that fan or whatever the fuck. Um, but like to me, he was just a comedian. He was just like, he wasn't a star. He wasn't anything big, but he had it in him. It was obvious that he knew what he was doing, and it was obvious that he was destined to do this thing, this comedy thing. And he did it, and he was fucking masterful at it. I never forgot that, dude. I never forgot that, and I always wanted to have a second chance of meeting Ralphie May. You know, because I met him not knowing anything about him, and he invited us to this show, and then I never talked to him again. And then he blew up. He became Ralphie May, the Ralphie May we all know and love. He became that after the fact. And I was just like, damn, dude, I fucking met this guy just randomly at a restaurant. And he invited us to a show. And he fucking changed my life. You know. Obviously, this was before I even thought about doing comedy. When I even thought about that I could do it. You know. But I never forgot. I never forgot how he made me feel. Like how I was mesmerized. I was amazed. I've never seen anybody control a crowd of people like that. He was like one of those those dogs that lead the sheep. Go this way, go that way. It was fucking amazing, dude. It was fucking amazing. It was electrifying. It was I've never seen anything like that ever in my life. You know, like that. It's stuff like that. Like I think about that all the time. It's one of those memories that like I could look back and see like it was yesterday. You know, you don't have a lot of those. I don't have a lot of those. I have a really bad memory, and it's depressing how bad my memory is because I spend a lot of time just walking through life. I like just get through this day, you know. And it was so intense that I forgot a lot of the details of that day. But that moment, man, that moment, I I I I relive it all the time. For some reason, I knew you're gonna want to mark this. You're gonna want to remember this, and my brain just knew to fucking stay in the moment, stay there, remember all of this, and I did, and I do. You know, yeah, dude. Uh, Ralphie May, God bless, rest in peace. Thank you, thank you for all that. You know. Anyway, did my first private gig. Yeah, where they pay you, bah, 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 you know. Never got asked to do a private gig before. This was the first time, and I was like, "Yes, thank you, sir. May I have another?" And the private gig was like, I think a company anniversary party or family reunion or something like that. And it was in San Marcos with Jeremy Brown and Gabe Cortez. Cool dudes, homies, cool ass homies for sure. Like we had a moment, we bonded over this stressful situation, and it was only stressful because like the guy running it, the guy paying us, was a pastor or something like that, and there was kids there, like babies, toddlers, kids, and I'm just like, damn, like I'm not a dirty comic, like I don't cuss that much in my sets, but the topics, the topics are not kid friendly, and so that was a challenge. And I had a good time. Some things they rocked with me, and things that worked in a comedy club that fucking kill in a comedy club did not work in that room, and that was painful. But did my time, nothing more. I was like, as soon as I hit my time, I was like, thank you very much. Good night. And ran the fuck off. Ran the fuck off the stage. And then later that night, I did the midnight show at the Tiger, the secret show at the Tiger. And I just opened it up like, dude, I just came from a church clean comedy show. And all I want to say is, bah, 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 bah. Just all these fucking curse words, just like for a minute. Just started cussing just for a minute. I was like, oh, damn, that feels so fucking good. I never realized like how tough, how restricting a church comedy set is until I had to do a church clean comedy set. And that's why I love the Tiger, man. The Tiger is like free. I mean, of course, there's certain words you can't say out of respect for everybody. But, god damn it, dude. I If I didn't have that to close my night out, I would have fucking gone crazy. Because I didn't do bad at that clean church comedy show. Our church clean comedy show, rather. But it just wasn't fun. It just didn't feel good. I just didn't like. I had fun, yes, but I wasn't 100% myself. I had to hold back, and holding back from presenting yourself to people, to the audience, it sucks for comedy. I do this to express myself fully. And when you can't do that, you don't realize how much you need to express yourself fully until you can't express yourself fully. So God bless the fucking Blind Tiger Comedy Club, dude, for giving me that fucking moment. And the crowd was good. And what sucks is like I was outside talking to a homie of mine, and we were just talking about like just anything else but comedy. And then the host, Brendan Potter, shout out Brendan Potter, I love that guy. He just runs out. He's like, "Hey, you're on next, right now." I was like, "What the fuck?" And so I had to run inside, run downstairs. Had like 5 seconds to like try to catch my breath. Give it up for your next comic, Patrick Christopher. And I'm just like, so out of shape. So out of shape. And I was just like, I didn't have nothing prepared. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I just like went into like, just came from a fucking church clean comedy set, and Jesus Christ, that fucking sucks. So I'm glad to be here. I'm so stoked to be here. Blah 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 blah. F bomb, S bomb, B bomb, C bomb, all the bombs, throwing it out for a minute. Just and the crowd was just going crazy, and I was just like, "Thank you, my friends, thank you, my friends, for fucking getting it, for fucking getting it." And then after that minute, just cussing, I was like, "Okay, now I got to do some jokes." And I just went into some of my nastiest stuff, and they were fucking with me. And I fucking love comedy, dude. I fucking love comedy. I love The Blind Tiger. I love comedy. God damn it. I fucking, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we got to close out. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Twitter and Instagram at your homie Pat, barbacoacore.com. Check out my other podcasts, Duderman Homie Bro, with my homies Scott Ramos, Jacob Flores. They're my fucking homies. I'm having a fucking blast doing that fucking podcast. It fucking feels good to do that. Please support that one. It's going to be big. I promise. Thank you very much for listening to the Pat at Hill podcast. I love you guys. I love you guys. Yeah. Hopefully you're doing good. If you need anything, reach out to me. I'm a DM away. I'm here to listen. I get it. I'm blessed by feeling as good as I feel right now. And if I could help anybody feel less alone, or just feel good, or just feel better about themselves, or just feel like they have somebody to talk to, let me be that person. Because I understand how important it is. Thank you again. Hopefully you're doing good. I'll check back with you later. Peace.